This time on the Reloop Brief, we're taking a quick look at EPR, Extended Producer Responsibility, with Anna Larsson, Reloop Circular Economy Development Director. From examples of changes through the years to current trends in Europe. It's a lot to squeeze in, but we start at the beginning. Let's get straight into it then. Let's start with EPR, Extended Producer Responsibility. What exactly is EPR?
Extended producer responsibility is an environmental policy, very important one, where producers bear financial responsibility for post-consumer phase of a product or packaging's life cycle. And here I would like to underline two words: financial. This is essence of extended producer responsibility, because here producers bear, as I mentioned, financial responsibility for collection and further processing of waste categories under the EPR. And then another word that is important, or expression, post-consumer, where in a post-consumer phase of a product or packaging's life cycle.
When was the first time we heard about extended producer responsibility?
The concept and the name was coined by Professor Thomas Lindqvist from the Department of Industrial Environmental Economics at Lund University in Sweden. The title of a report that was written to the Swedish government in the beginning of 90s is pretty self-explanatory, From Cradle to Grave. And simultaneously, this concept was included in the materials of the seminar that took place during the United Nations Environmental Programme meeting on the topic of clean production. It is very important to understand also the background of extended producer responsibility. Back then, in the end of 80s, in the beginning of 90s, there could be observed growing amounts of municipal waste. It was obviously linked to the economic growth. Until today, we are not able to decouple the economic growth from the generation of waste. It was also problematic with the specification of especially packaging that were not suitable for recycling.
Okay, so tell me a wee bit about what the trends are. You mentioned extended producer responsibility has been around in a concept since the 80s, but where are we now, specifically in Europe?
It is a very good question, Barry. We need to talk about trends. We cannot rely on a history, on a theory, on extended producer responsibility, because in the beginning of 90s, the situation related to technology surrounding waste management was totally different than what we have now. I think at this point it is very important to focus on the packaging. Yeah, we know that, for example, in Europe, the extended producer responsibility is obligatory for batteries, for electronic and electric appliances, and the packaging. But we can focus on packaging because we have a lot of packaging to take care of. So I would like to divide the packaging and consumer packaging into the two groups. One being beverage containers and the second non-beverage containers. Why is it important? Because we generate a lot of beverage containers. Every European citizen consumes hundreds of bottles and cans per year, which becomes naturally waste items. It is also related to a huge risk of littering. We know that 80% of the litter is formed by beverage containers or containers from takeaway restaurants, coffee cups, and so on. So it's a very important group to take care of, and the best proven method for managing this post-consumer waste are deposit systems, and they are very particular way of extended producer responsibility, where producers and retailers form entities that take care of the post-consumer phase for the collection, but also for preparation for recycling or reuse of beverage containers, and where the system, so extended producer responsibility, is based on both financial and organizational responsibility.
And how have things changed over the years, do you think?
In the beginning, extended producer responsibility, which was mandated in all European countries in the 90s, it was associated with organizational responsibility of the producer. So a lot of so-called dual systems were born. We could observe that in Sweden, also in Austria, Spain, and Germany. Now, with growing amounts of packaging and the increased collection targets, and also with the recycled content obligation, we need efficient systems and holistic solutions. And this gives advantage to the municipal systems, because a lot of European countries also maintain the responsibility of the municipalities for the collection, like Norway, like France, like Poland. And those collection systems have had to be co-financed by producers and importers through the extended producer responsibilities.
EPR is something that sounds great when working, and you've given examples there, so that's fantastic. But does EPR go far enough then?
For many years in Europe, we have had collection targets imposed. We know that those collection targets have not been enough. Municipalities played a role. They implemented source separation. They tried to reach these minimum collection targets, but we know that from the perspective of circular economy, this has not been enough. In some countries, there are struggles related to the extended producer responsibility and not enough financing from the industry. But even when this comes into place and when the industry bears the financial responsibility, this does not guarantee circular economy, because circular economy is an economy which is based on secondary materials. We need for this minimum recyclable content targets, which means that the collected recyclables become substrates for the production of new products or new packaging.
So I'm sure we could talk about EPR a lot, and we probably will on the podcast over the next wee while. But have you got any final thoughts for today?
So circular economy relies very much on environmental policies. One of them is extended producer responsibility, because we need this co-financing aspect. But what is special with EPR, extended producer responsibility, is that through the tools that EPR has created, the PROs, producer responsibility organizations, have become very important entities to plan and implement and also develop circular economy strategies. So in a way, extended producer responsibility is a central tool for implementation of circular economy models, not the only one, but a central for implementation of other environmental policies.
Thanks to Anna Larsson for joining me this time on the Reloop Brief. Remember, there's previous episodes for you to check out, and if you subscribe or follow, you'll get details of our next episode.